And Devin, this is quite a bit of relief for flood victims who are claiming on their insurance, Absa sort of scrapping the excess that you have to pay. I'm really hoping that they're going to lead the way on this and other insurance companies will follow suit.
Yeah, indeed, Sally. What you're talking about is the waiver on those excess payments that you do when you make a claim. You can imagine with the enormity of damage that we've seen on the KZN floods, those claims are coming fast and furious, and it's just not Absa, but many other banks are having to deal with it. So thousands of insured flood-related victims in KwaZulu-Natal are hoping for a speedy payout of their claims. Insurance groups, as I said, have already revealed claims that have gone into the hundreds of millions. And as you say, today, Absa announcing that it has placed a waiver on excess payments usually required from clients. This directed to flood-affected victims. Faisal Mkhize is the Managing Executive for Relationship Banking at Absa. He joins us now. Faisal, thanks indeed for your time. So you're dropping excess payments across the board. Is that it? Or is it just for homeowners? What are the conditions, many would ask?
Thanks for the opportunity. I think very good question that you're raising there. So in essence, I think we're very clear that the key focus is on the businesses and the buildings that have been affected by the floods that we've seen in KwaZulu-Natal. And secondly, predominantly the residential homes. That's what we're focusing on, because those are the key, I guess, the requirements that we're seeing, at this stage with regards to the needs that are emerging in the province.
I mean, surely that would go some way to actually relieve some of these clients. These claims go on to double, triple digits, quite huge claims coming out of there. Just a quick one. I mean, what's it like on the claims front? We've already seen banks reporting that their claims are going into the hundreds of millions. How fast and furious is this coming in? What are the figures looking like?
So very good point. So these are moving figures that we're seeing. So it is very clear that even if one looks at the national figures, right? So we have 75% of claims volume that are coming out now in the last 4 or 5 days are coming out of KwaZulu-Natal province. So it's very clear that, the floods have had a devastating effect, to people's homes and buildings. That is very clear. To that end, I think we've seen also just the volumes of, claims coming through indicates to us that, this is just the beginning. I think it's a moving target. I think we anticipate that we're going to see more claims coming through in the course of time, because as people figure out, once they've dealt with the immediate shock of having gone through what they've gone through, they now have to think about rebuilding and look at what help is available in terms of insurance. So it is very clear that we're still in early days, in my view, with regards to what is going to come. To that end, what we've done also is just to create a capacity on the ground. So we had to make sure that we've got teams across the country that have been mobilized to be based in KwaZulu-Natal to help fast-track some of the claims and also assessments.
And that fast-tracking is crucial, because on the one hand, you're intervening by putting a waiver on those excess claims, but there's also the question of just the sheer amount of claims and processing them efficiently, because it's inevitable, I would imagine, that people will have to wait much longer than desired. And these are people that have got many of their sort of basic structural needs out of order. So presumably this will take a long time, and the patience is needed here?
No, absolutely not. Under normal circumstances, obviously, one will anticipate that there will be delays, but because of the pressure that we've seen on the ground, because of the pain and everything, so our plan is to make sure that we, as much as possible, we can ease that pain by making sure that we create, fast lines with regards to claim processing. So we're very clear that we're not into a space of wanting people to wait because they've gone through a pain already. So we want to ease that by making sure that we've got proper systems that can fast track some of these processes. There is no intent on our side, at least, that people must wait longer period of time. That's why one of the things that we've done over and above just the claim process, we've rolled out assessors on the ground to ensure that they can be able to cope with the demands, of the claims that are going to come through. So it's very important principle that we were noted here.
Faisal, just before I let you go, perhaps just paint a picture for me on the businesses that are putting through some claims. I mean, they're still struggling to recover from the riots last year. And a payout to them basically affects their survival, especially those small businesses. What's the picture you can paint for us on that front?
The situation, I think, you've seen, I think you've just listened now to Dr. Ntias just explaining some of the things that they've observed on the ground. It is very clear that, KwaZulu-Natal is going to take a little bit longer than the rest of the country to recover, because we've had COVID, and then after COVID we had riots, and then after riots we have this type of scenario. Even some of the small businesses that were starting just to stabilize, to make sure that they get on top of things, they manage their business, now they have to deal with this. So it's very important that, as banks and financial institutions, we take, a higher road to ensure that we are able to absorb some of the shock. So the principles around these excess waivers, it's also about that, because sometimes, people want to claim, but if they don't have access, funds available to finalize the claim, it might delay the process. So one of the principles we've adopted is to take away some of those things so that we can fast track the claim process.
All right. Well, thanks very much indeed. Faisal Mkhize is the Managing Executive for Relationship Banking at Absa Retail and Business Bank.